Hi and welcome. We're going to do a quick restorative class for the hips. So let's go ahead and get started. You can have a yoga mat and 2 yoga blocks. And let's go ahead and start in downward dog. So go ahead and spread the fingers, bend the knees, pedal out. Start to deepen your breath. And then I want you to just bend the knees, open it up, and come into a child's pose, wide knees. And we're going to breathe here and stretch your fingers nice and long. Shifting your hips back. Okay, if this is too much and you're quite tight in your hips, you can also take a block to the forehead and sit the hips back as far as you can go. Good, and let's come onto all fours. Wrists are going to come underneath your shoulders. We're just going to get a little rotation in through the legs. So you're going to extend your left leg back, bend the knee and open. Open that hip. Try to stack your left hip on top of your right. You can stay here, or if you want to do a little extra, you can take your left arm up and find a little balance. Release the left hand to the floor and take the left knee directly to the left. I like to flex my foot here and trying to lift the knee about hip height. I'm pressing slightly down with my right knee, and as I'm lifting the outer left knee up, flexing that foot. And I'm just going to extend and bend. Don't worry if it doesn't go all the way straight. Extend and bend for 3, 2, and 1. I want you to take that leg back again, rotate, and you can stay here or extend it up for modified Ardha Chandrasana variation. Lift up out of your right shoulder and extend through the left hand. Tuck the pelvis. You want to get the shoulders, the hip, and the knee all in one line. Reach, maybe look up, and then exhale, release. We're going to lift the right knee out. Take it back. Stack your right hip on top of your left, swiveling through the waist. Stay here or slowly lift the right hand, reach, breathe, lift up out of your left shoulder, and then exhale, right hand to the floor. Take the right knee out to the right and line with the right hip as much as possible. I want you to press down into your left knee, into the floor, and lift the right knee up, pulling up through your low belly. Try to keep your arms straight. Okay, try not to shift everything to the left. And then see if you can straighten your right leg and bend. Straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. One more. And then go ahead and take it back, open that hip. Stay, or slowly right hand up. Try to get your shoulder, your hip, and your knee in one line. Maybe you look up, lift up out of your left shoulder, push your right foot back a little, and then exhale, release. Take the knees wide again, extend. Nice deep child's pose. You can relax the forehead on the floor or on a block if you need to. Full breaths in and out the nose. Good, and then we're going to come back up into our downward dog. You're going to inhale, lift your right leg, bend the knee again, open the hip. And then exhale, take your right knee to the right. Kick and bend and straighten that right leg. Keep both arms straight as much as possible. One more time. Then take it back, open that hip. straighten the leg, release, lift the left leg, bend and open. Keep your arms straight. Take the left knee to the left. Straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. Try to get the knee hip height one more time. Straighten, bend. Take it back, open the hip. And release the foot to the floor. Drop the knees, come to child's pose. Deep breaths in and out the nose. Good, coming back to downward dog. Lift the right leg, bend the knee, open the hip, and go for a few big circles. Pressing into your thumbs. And then you're going to take your right knee to your right wrist for pigeon. Make sure the right knee is to the right side of the mat and not in the center of your chest. Okay, and slide the left leg back. If you find you sit over on the right glute, I want you to take a block underneath your right glute. So that way your hips are pointing forward and you're not rotating the one hip open for pigeon. So you can use that block or without. You can keep the foot close in or you can slide the foot forward a bit for a little bit more flexibility. Or if you are a little bit more flexible. Breathe. Tuck the left hip bone forward towards your right heel. Lift the chest. Tuck the pelvis forward so you aren't sinking into your low back. You don't want the sit bones to lift up. You want to take the sit bones and point them down. Try not to sickle your left foot, so you don't want to turn the toes in. You want those toes nice and straight back. Lift the chest. If you want a little bit more here, you can clasp the hands behind your back and lift. Again, we're tucking the pelvis forward, so I don't want you to be here. Okay. Straighten that back leg. And then staying up, or we're walking it forward. You can come onto your forearms. You can lay all the way flat forward. I don't have the space for that at the moment. So I'm going to use my blocks under my forearms. And as I'm here, I'm working my back leg straight back. I have no strain in my front right knee. If you have strain in the front right knee, then I'd rather you take a figure 4 laying on your back. Breathe. Couple more breaths. So we're going to get a few different angles of the hips today. Take another inhale. On your exhale, slide the back leg back a little bit more. Try to lengthen the chest over a little bit more. And then slowly bring it up. Lift the chest. And then we're going to turn the back toes under, scooch the back knee forward a little. Come to all fours. Stretch your right leg back. Bend the knee, open the hip. And then we're just going to do a few circles. Kick it, straighten it back. Bend, circle it in, kick it back. Bend the knee, circle it into the other knee. Straighten it back. One more, bend knee to knee. Straighten and release. Come to downward dog. And just notice if there's any differences between the sides. And then you're going to lift the left leg, bend the knee and open that hip, press into your thumbs. And then exhale. You're going to bring that left knee all the way to the left wrist. Stretch your right leg back. So again, one side might be different than the other side, flexibility-wise and strength-wise. But if you tend to sit on this side and not the other side, it's fine. Just grab your block, place it underneath the glute, and sitting up. Just turn it so it's comfortable or relatively so. Tuck your right hip bone towards your left heel and breathe. Try not to turn that right toes in. You want to keep them straight back. So we don't want to sit. Okay, we want to keep those hips parallel, rolling that right hip forward. And no strain in that front knee. So we're internally rotating that back thigh. The inner thigh is lifting towards the ceiling. The pigeon pose will also help you because we're basically in half split Hanumanasana with the back leg. So we're working on tucking that pelvis and finding length, stretching your hip flexors here. And you can stay or you can clasp your hands. Reach. Tucking the pelvis. Here you get a little bit more into the back. So I really want you to tuck the pelvis, lift the chest. And then slowly release. You can stay up or coming forward. You can use the blocks or not, it's up to you. I'm going to use the blocks for a little more space for my stomach. And as I'm here, I'm lengthening my chest forward, but I'm not shifting all my weight forward into my left knee. I'm working my back leg back a bit. So I'm trying to get the left sit bone towards the floor and the right hip bone towards the floor as I'm in this forward folded variation of pigeon. Breathe. Lengthen the chest. Don't hold the breath. If you have a tight spot or tight area, I want you to focus your breath and attention into that spot and then try to relax those muscles. Release there. And the second you release that grip that naturally happens in your hips or outer glutes, and then that's where you find this space to go a bit deeper. I'm working my back leg back as I'm breathing and lengthening my chest forward. That way I'm not shifting all the weight forward, I'm shifting some weight back. I'm rolling the right inner thigh in and towards the ceiling. Couple more breaths. And then slowly coming it up. Lift the chest, tuck that pelvis forward. Don't let the sit bones flare up behind you. And then slowly remove the blocks if you use them. Turn your back toe under, scooch the back knee forward. Take that left leg back, extend. Bend the knee, wrap it around forward, and extend. Bend the knee, bend, couple circles, one more. Good. Now we're going to go for frog. So now we're opening up the inner thighs. Just going to move my blocks a little. And we won't be here that long. I'm going to roll my mat in just a little on both sides. Not too much, okay, because I'm going to take my knees out wide. And I can use my blocks in the front if I want. Okay. My knees are going to go wide. The knees come to the top of the mat. The ankles are in line of the knees. And I'm letting my knees go wide. So I'm in this nice, wide, stretching the inner thighs. Which everything in the hip connects. And then if you want, you can come onto your forearms, you can come onto your blocks on your forearms. We won't be here that long. Okay, so just breathe and stick with it. Breathe. With each exhale, see if you can let your knees go a little bit wider. Breathe. Again, this is where we really need to bring our attention to our breath. Take your attention to those tight areas. Breathe into that spot and then try to relax that grip in those areas. Inner thighs. Maybe it's a bit of outer glute clenching. Try to relax that outer glute and hip. Breathe. Opening. Make sure your hips are in line with your knees and your hips aren't shifting in front of the knee line. Almost there. Breathe into it. And if you can, I want you to try to shift your hips back towards the back edge of the mat behind you. Just a little. You feel maybe a little more inner thigh here. And then I'm going to bring my feet together, lift the knees, and slowly undo the mat. Bring the bottoms of your feet together. Clasp the hands. Wrap the shoulder blades back, lift the chest. Just sitting up nice and tall first. I want you to press your feet together and allow the knees to draw down. Breathe. Lift and lengthen the spine. Then if you can either stay here or extend the chest forward, wrap your shoulder blades back and fold over. As you fold over, try not to round your back. Lengthen the chest, wrap the shoulder blades, pull the elbows along the ribs, elongate the spine. The sit bones lift up behind you and slowly bring it up. And then we're going to just finish off with a little breathing. So you can sit up in any comfortable position. I'm going to grab a block and sit on my block. And just closing the eyes. Sitting nice and tall. We're going to take the right thumb to the right nostril, index and middle finger between the brow. Inhale through the left side. Close the left side with the ring finger of the same hand and exhale through the right. Inhale, right side, nice and deep. Close the right with the thumb and exhale left. Inhale, left side. Close the ring finger and exhale right. Inhale deeply right. Close with the thumb and exhale left. One more time. Inhale left. Nice and deep. Close with the ring finger. Exhale right side. And release the right hand to the knee. Keep your eyes closed and just keep breathing in and out the nose. Calm, steady breath. And thank you for sharing your practice and your energy with me. Have a great day. Namaste.